Cancer gang, what's up? Welcome to my channel, Tarot by the Intuitive Teacup. We are going to do a tarot reading for you. General message for Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. Please come into the reading with an open heart, an open mind, a desire to learn something to better yourself. And if the messages that come through don't resonate, simply push them aside, assume they're going out to someone else who needs to hear them. But again, do be open to the fact that they may resonate for you at a later date. So check back in the future. You are accountable and responsible for all your own actions and decisions. This is optional advice or guidance, a little energy check-in. So let's do it for Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Split the deck here. That felt fresh. That felt hot, like I was supposed to separate it there. Oh, you have such a happy card. All right. Ooh, Cancer, this looks good. Bottom of the deck, Queen of Pentacles. All right. So very like entrepreneurial energy to that Queen of Pentacles. We'll see if that comes into it later on. All right, let's see. So I'm going to read this as kind of where you're coming from and where you're heading, what you need to release and what you need to embrace. All right, so let me look at this before I jump right in. It's funny. I kind of see this as an untraditional narrative. So you're starting here with the King of Wands, so someone who's very vibrant, clearly someone who's very colorful. There's almost like an Aquarian energy to this. Like there's just something kind of unique and different that makes this person stand out. Maybe this is the type of person who sort of goes against the grain or cuts their own path or opposes the norm, the tradition. I very much see that being a strong theme in your message this week. I almost see this as like a soul rebirth for you. I know that that's kind of a heavy concept to start off with, but if this is you, Cancer, and it may or may not be, but someone in your life is a key factor showing up this week with this narrative. Could be a Leo. It's almost like someone who was kind of took an anti-stance to everything or was like a little rebel or rebellious in some ways, ends up taking a path or a trajectory that one might consider rather traditional. I've heard that a lot about the zodiac sign Capricorn. They start off as kind of little rebels and, dark and you don't understand me. And then they frequently become what they rebel against. I'm only reciting that because I heard it recently and it kind of felt like that might be important in this reading. I do also see not fear in the traditional sense, but a lot of questioning about what it means to have a family and what would it be like to have a child, and would I have to put my own needs aside, and would I have to sacrifice all my dreams if I do this? And the answer is no. You don't have to sacrifice everything. Like anything in life, there's give and take, there's push and pull. There's going to be times that challenge you, but a lot of you took a very firm stance on something, but you seem to have come around or changed your mind, or for some of you it's very drastic, like you kind of did a 180. But the thing is, whatever this is, it's interesting because it actually opens up more possibilities to you. There was something radical or anti this or anti that, nonconformist. But the irony is that the freedom that you thought it was allowing you kind of actually had the opposite effect, where I don't know if you felt like your inner desires weren't being met, and it got too caught up in the ego of, well, this is who I am and this is my persona now. I know this is kind of a wacky message, but I just see you guys kind of, I see like the shedding of snakeskin or like the chicken hatching from an egg. It's like there's this rebirth of you, Cancer. Some of you, it almost feels like a second chance at something that you didn't think was yours. And here's what I think this is. I think deep down this was a wound of sorts, of something that you never thought could be yours. And so because it seemed impossible to you, there was this natural instinct to revert against it. Almost, I don't know if it's to save face, but it was like a protective mechanism. So you didn't get hurt if you... Does that make sense to anyone out there? I know what this message feels like. I'm having trouble putting it into words, though. Let's just take the kind of very obvious message of what could be one interpretation of this card. The idea of, romance and finding your person and, having a wedding and the family and the perfect life and whatever. Some of you are like, I'm never going to get that, so I'm going to put like a giant banner out that says, F it. Like, I don't want any of that. But the thing is, on the inside, I think you did. You just assumed you wouldn't get it. And so there was this, it's almost like you started to build your life around the idea that that was never going to come true for you. And yet I think it does. Or something in your life changes where there's a rebirth of you. It's like, yeah, I see your inner child coming back out, or I'm struggling to put it into words. There's a newfound peace within you, and it opens up possibilities of doors you didn't know were available to you, Cancer. Quite literally, some of you are building a life with a fire sign, and there's potentially talks of children or marriage. Some of you are worried about the family that you come from and how that's going to blend in with theirs, or vice versa. You may have hesitations about this person's family. Not everything has to be a battle, is what I don't know. I'm being called to say that. Anyway, let's move on here, and maybe the rest of this will make more sense. You do have really good cards, though. Really, I think very good cards. Two very strong cards of Leo and the Sun. So this may or may not have to do with a Leo. But we have to remember, for my Cancer risings, Leo rules your second house of values and worth. Possibly, the means of how you make your money, or what influences your value system and what you place value upon, right? So the idea of authentic self-expression, right? Some of you, I see a message here of conformity. I don't know why that's coming through, and I'm not hating on it. I mean, you do you. That's so interesting to me. Anyway, all right, moving on. What you need to release or move away from or not lean into as much as you used to. The Two of Wands. A lot of wand energy here. We do have some pentacle energy. What is real? What is tangible? Bottom of the deck. What can be physically seen and proven? Something that you've nurtured over time and put effort into. Something that's quick, or attributing value to something that it doesn't have a lot of substance to it, but in the moment it feels good. I think you're being asked to think long term. The Two of Wands, I believe it's a Mars card. So it's an Aries card too. So Mars and Aries. A lack of, it's not stability. It has to do with sticking around. The idea of always initiating new projects but not seeing them through to the end, or always starting new relationships but then they just seem to fizzle quite quickly because I don't know if it's mutual, or one person wasn't really willing to kind of stoke the fire. I think I don't know whether this is literally building a family or a home or a relationship, or maybe it's a business or a better daily regimen for your health. You're being asked to really commit to it with the Queen of Pentacles, because that will yield success over time. But this kind of, I'm going to fly in and do the thing, and if it's boring, I'm going to peace out. There's something about keeping or maintaining that same energy or that passion or that life force, that energy for something, and not just letting it drift away, haphazardly. Yeah, it's like honing in on that energy or that passion and continuing to nurture it and feed it so that it has the potential to grow over time. I think you go in with good intentions, but it's getting more it's a kind of a contradictory message. It's getting more serious. It's requiring you to really nurture those seeds, right? It's requiring you to dig in deeper and commit even more. But with that, there's this new freedom. Like something opens up and it feels lovely. So this this way of thinking that was so, I don't know if it's rebellious or maybe it's negative. Maybe it's like this self-protective, F everybody because I don't fit in and blah blah. Like I don't know. I don't know what that is, but it wasn't working for you. And I think you've come to realize that. Letting your guard down and letting people embrace you and embracing others, flaws and all, maybe being less critical, maybe being more open-minded. Something about that breeds wonderful success for you. And yet, I don't know why I'm almost wanting to say putting your guard down a little bit. Not keeping people at arm's length or at arm's distance. I'm almost getting with this too, the idea of like false flirtation, like being flirty but then pulling it all away, causing confusion in relationships. Either that's what you were chasing and now you're being asked to remove that energy and to really choose people who it doesn't seem like it's not purely lust, right? There's got to be more substance than that. Because I sense that you're moving into a chapter where you just don't have room for that in your life anymore. The serial dater, the self-proclaimed bachelor or bachelorette. Some of you may have been chasing someone who flat out said like, I don't ever want marriage. And you're like, oh, that's okay. Like, I don't either. But again, it's like deep down you did. And so maybe you're not chasing that person who's not in alignment with what you want. And it's like the minute you change your mind about that, things start to align to what it is that you were or are trying to manifest. Yeah, surface level flirtations or nitpicking in relationships, we're moving away from that because there's something far more profound and impactful and big and bright and beautiful coming in with the Strength card. You have so much Leo energy here, I don't know what to do with it. You also have some Aries and maybe some Capricorn energy. Your impulsiveness, your impulsivity, again, that I'm getting a lot of metaphors here of like it's funny, it's Mars and Aries, but I'm almost getting a more Scorpio idea of, the transformation, the death and the rebirth, but you're very quick to end something when it loses a little bit of steam or gusto, where I think what you're being called to do is revitalize it. Not just run away from it and look for the next best thing. And I don't associate Cancers with being lazy, I'm not trying to say that, but I'll be honest though, Pisces had a similar message where it's not time to quit. It's not time to give up. And because I think sometimes that's the easy way out. And if this thing, this person, this feeling, this job means enough to you, I don't know, it's almost like a sign of respect that you're not just like, girl, bye. Like you're willing to invest a little bit more time and energy to fix it or make it right. To build it into the future. I think there's a move away from superficiality, moving into something more genuine and authentic. Finding your pack, finding your tribe, finding your soul family. Those are all kind of very great Cancerian energies. Going out into the world and looking to find your family or to build a family of your own. You have every right as everyone else, to want that and to desire that. And the thing is, if that is something you want, I see all that. I see that in the cards here. But some of you have taken a strong stance against it, which is very interesting. And I'm not here to say, I'm not here to comment on what you should or should not want to want and desire in your future, but I just see this as you rebelled against something that you actually did want, but you had to come to realize it possibly through meeting of another person. Something was reflected back to you in another person. And it kind of was like shocking to you to see it through their eyes or to try and understand it, because there's a lot of projection. There's a lot of projection going on here of, I only meet people who do X, Y, and Z, but in reality, sometimes people read you as doing that to them. And it might not be exactly, word for word, but there was a lack of self-awareness or perception of how you respond in relationships. And something about that is undergoing huge transformation where again there's this rebirth into finding long-term stability. I'm curious, can I have one on the strength card? I'm going to keep our bottom of the deck here, Queen. Oh, this one. Three of Pentacles. So again, okay, building, starting a family. You know, the whole pack. You have a card of children and babies. You have a very strong card of marriage, foundation, stability, you know, household. Again, kind of traditional to me. It comes from a place of I don't want any of that, and that's not for me. And then that's just funny. That's just funny to me. Making plans for the future. But again, understanding that all good things take time, you know. Overnight success stories rarely last. And so what you're building upon, it seems like it is moving into having a very solid foundation. But when the going gets tough, I would really encourage you to stick to it. To fight through that urge to escape, or to fight through that urge to just almost like self-destruct. That's sort of what I was getting at with the Scorpio metaphor, but in a lower vibration. Like if something feels threatened, or, you know, if a scorpion, quite literally, feels threatened or attacked, it will use its stinger. But if they doesn't see a way out, it will, you know, sting itself to death. That's sort of what I mean. It's like there's something here where it's almost like you shot yourself in the foot by your impulsive reaction to just have this sort of like all or nothing. That's it. I'm out. I don't know if any of you have strong Scorpio in your chart. Maybe that's what's coming through. But I would encourage you to take a breather and not act on fiery impulses. Maybe some of you have a lot of Leo in your chart, where if it's, you know, oh, it's not working, I'm over it, whatever. No, it can work. It just takes some, you know, fine tuning, or remembering why you got into it in the first place. I think that's important with the sun. You have a lot of warm energy. Some of you might be attending a party, a family party, a wedding, something where there's really strong emotional bonds and connections. What's interesting, though, here in the spread is that there isn't a lot of water. So I wonder if that is saying, in a sense, that maybe we've been overdoing the water Cancer. There's been a lot of feelings and energy, and energy put into that sort of element, right? The feeling, the intuitiveness, the creative, the spirituality. You know, by all means, you're Cancer. You have to do those things. That I think you got on lock. It's about sort of balancing it out with the other elements, right? Especially the fire. Fire and earth are what's showing up here the strongest. So being grounded, right? Being practical. And also remembering to have fun, and that life is short, and sometimes you have to take risks, and remember to stop and smell the roses, or, you know, try and see the forest from the trees. That kind of perspective, that things do change. Things will be in flux. Nothing in life is constant, but you may as well start planting the seeds now so that you can start to see them grow over time. And again, being open to that change too. It's kind of an interesting dichotomy there, but I don't know. I think that's interesting. All right, let's get Cancer an animal card. What can I tell Cancer this week? The stingray. Oh my gosh, you guys, that's so funny. I was talking about stinging yourself to death, right? I meant that more in the Scorpio metaphor of, I feel attacked, I'm panicking, what do I do? There's no way out. Some of you may be coming from a very dark place too. The idea of sort of that, hold on, let me find this in the book. I can't do two things at once. Oh my gosh, why can't I find it? The stingray. Starfish, fish, stingray. There we go. Yeah, some of you may have come from a place where you were really struggling with sort of some obtrusive thoughts, some negative, dark thoughts of the idea that there's no escape, there's no way out. Be a good advocate for yourself. Know that you're not alone, and that you don't have to solve everything on your own. You know, reaching out for help. I could, just because I do see sort of a more shadow side message of that, of like feeling trapped, like there's no way out. You know, feeling like you can't breathe in your situation. So there is always a way out. And with that, again, the lack of air, are you being a good advocate for yourself? Do you need to communicate to someone? Do you need to ask for help? I see you coming from a difficult starting point, and this is in the past, right? But this is the present. So coming into this, oh my gosh, I didn't know the world could be this great. Some sort of circumstance that could be life-changing, but you needed to ground yourself to get there. Anyway, let's read the Stingray card. Developing confidence, a sense of self, or a spine. The Stingray card represents a pivotal point in personal growth. The moment has come when the Stingray must decide between the old, easy, comfortable, and familiar, and the new, challenging, uncomfortable, and unfamiliar. Pressure from family and friends makes the decision even more complicated. No matter what choice is made now, it is inevitable that this dilemma will surface again and again as the force of Dharma growing within the Stingray is too strong to ignore. When in balance, this card means eager and wants to grow. When out of balance, it means blaming others and quits. Bring into balance, moving through the discomfort. All right, Cancer, I'm going to leave you with that this week. Thanks for joining me today here on my channel, The Intuitive Teacup. Please remember to like the video, subscribe, all those good things. If you want to book a personal reading and support my business, that would be awesome. There's information on how to do that in the dialog box below. Other than that, I will see you very soon for more tarot. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Bye.